Commander Vex led Zara to a small room deep in the ship. It was not a prison cell, but it was private. No one would hear their conversation. "Sit down," he said gently. Zara sat, expecting the worst. Court-martial, execution, disgrace for her family. "Tell me what happened out there," Vex said. Zara looked at his face. She saw no anger, no disappointment, just curiosity. "I could not do it," she said quietly. "I could not kill people who save lives. Because of the human. Tom. Yes. Because of Tom." Vex was quiet for a long time. He walked to the small window and looked out at the stars. "Zara, what I am about to tell you must stay between us. Do you understand?" "Yes, sir. I have been talking to other commanders, quietly, carefully. We are not the only ones who have questions about this war." Zara's eyes widened. "Sir?" "The human you met, Tom. He was not the first to show mercy to our people. There have been others, many others. They rescue our pilots. They treat our wounded. They let our ships escape when they could destroy them. But we are taught that humans are cruel. We are taught many things that may not be true." Vex turned from the window. "Did you know that humans have tried to contact us, to arrange prisoner exchanges, to set up medical treaties?" "No, sir. The High Council rejects all such communications. They say humans cannot be trusted, that any mercy is a trick." Zara thought about this. "What do you think, sir?" "I think," Vex said carefully, "that maybe humans are not so different from us. Maybe they have families they love. Maybe they have dreams and hopes. Maybe they are just people trying to survive a war they did not want." This was dangerous talk. If the wrong person heard it, Vex could be charged with treason. "Sir, why are you telling me this?" Vex smiled. It was the first time Zara had ever seen him smile. "Because you are not the only pilot who has had problems attacking medical ships." "I'm not?" 3 other pilots in the last month, all after encounters with helpful humans, all suddenly unable to target rescue vessels. Zara felt a spark of hope. "Are they in trouble?" "Officially, they have equipment malfunctions and need retraining. Unofficially, they are being quietly transferred to defensive units, away from offensive missions. And me? You will be transferred to the intelligence division. Your job will be to study human behavior and tactics." This sounded like a trap. "To find better ways to kill them? To find better ways to understand them." Vex sat down across from her. "Zara, there are people on both sides who want this war to end. Not just because we are losing, but because it is wrong. Because we are killing people who could be friends instead of enemies." "How do you know about humans wanting the war to end?" Vex looked around to make sure they were truly alone. Then he opened a drawer and pulled out a small device. A human communication unit. "Because they have been trying to talk to us." He activated the device. A voice came through, speaking perfect HFY. "This is Dr. Sarah Chen of the Human Medical Corps. We have 17 wounded HFY soldiers in our hospital ship. They are being treated with the same care as our own people. We would like to arrange their return to your fleet. Please respond on this frequency." Zara stared at the device. "They are taking care of our wounded?" "Not just taking care of them, saving their lives, giving them the best medical treatment available. Some of our soldiers were dying when the humans found them. Now they are healthy and want to come home. Why don't our commanders accept these offers? Because accepting help from humans would mean admitting that humans are not monsters. And if humans are not monsters, then this war has been a terrible mistake. Zara understood now. The High Council could not admit they were wrong. Too many Cathai had died fighting humans. Too many resources had been spent on weapons and ships. To make peace now would mean accepting that all of that death and destruction had been for nothing. "What can we do?" she asked. "We can be ready," Vex said. "There are humans like Tom who save lives instead of taking them. There are Cathai like you who refuse to kill people who help others. When enough of us come together, maybe we can find a way to end this." Is that possible? I believe it is. Soldiers on both sides are tired of fighting, tired of killing, tired of watching friends die for reasons that make less sense every day. Vex put the communication device away. "For now, you will work in intelligence. You will study every report of human mercy, every rescue, every attempt at communication. You will build a record that proves humans are not our enemies. And then, when the time is right, we will present that evidence to people who have the power to make peace." As Zara left the room, she felt something she had not felt since before the war started. Purpose. Not the false purpose of killing enemies, but the real purpose of saving lives and ending suffering. She thought about Tom, probably out there right now rescuing wounded soldiers from both sides. She thought about Dr. Sarah Chen, treating Cathai patients with the same care as humans. She thought about all the people on both sides who were choosing compassion over hatred. Maybe the war would end someday. Maybe people like her and Tom would meet again as friends instead of enemies. Maybe the universe could be a place where different species helped each other instead of destroying each other. 6 months later, Zara was working late in the intelligence office when an alert came through. A human medical ship had been attacked by pirates. The ship was damaged and drifting in neutral space. The crew was sending distress calls. "Should we ignore it?" asked her assistant, Lieutenant Kira, the same young medic who had been on her rescue mission. Zara looked at the message. The ship's identification matched one in her files. It was part of Tom's medical unit. "No," she said. "We respond." "Sir? Respond how?" Zara smiled. "We help." She activated the communication system and spoke. In perfect human English, "Human medical vessel, this is Lieutenant Zara of the Cathai Intelligence Division. We have received your distress call. Medical assistance is on the way." The response came quickly, filled with surprise and hope. "Cathai vessel, this is Dr. Tom Rodriguez. Did you just offer to help us?" Tom. Her Tom. The human who had saved her life and changed everything she believed about the universe. "Hello, Tom," she said, tears streaming down her face. "It's Zara, and yes, we are coming to help." "Zara, the pilot I treated 6 months ago?" "The same." Tom's voice was filled with joy. "I told you we should meet again as people, not soldiers. Today we are just people helping people." As the Cathai medical ship launched to rescue the human vessel, Zara knew that this was just the beginning. One act of mercy leading to another. One life saved leading to another life saved. Her final moment as a soldier had not been death in battle. It had been a human's embrace of compassion, and now she was ready to embrace that same compassion and share it with the universe. The war was not over yet, but for the first time, peace seemed possible, because humans and Cathai were not so different after all. They both wanted to live. They both wanted to love. They both wanted to help others when they could, and sometimes that was enough to change everything. 3 days after her rescue, Zara stood in the medical bay of the battleship Keth Valos. The human medicine had worked so well that the Kethai doctors were amazed. Her wounds were healing faster than they had ever seen. The human medical techniques are quite advanced, Dr. Thales said, examining the bandages Tom had applied. Much better than our battlefield treatments. Is that unusual? Zara asked. Very unusual. We were told that human medicine was primitive, basic, but this work is exceptional. Another lie, Zara thought, like the lie that humans were mindless killers, like the lie that they would never show mercy. Doctor, may I ask you something? Of course. Have you ever treated a wounded human? Dr. Thale looked uncomfortable. No. The military code forbids giving aid to enemy soldiers. But you're a doctor. Isn't your job to help anyone who is hurt? My job is to help Kethai's soldiers fight better and longer. Dr. Thale's voice was firm, but Zara could see doubt in his eyes. That afternoon, Zara was called to report to Fleet Commander Zektar. His office was at the top of the ship, with windows looking out at the stars. He was old for a Kethai, his skin pale gray and his movements slow. Lieutenant Zara, he said without looking up from his reports. I have read the rescue team's account of your encounter with the human. Yes, sir. The human spoke our language. Yes, sir. Very well. And it provided medical aid. Yes, sir. Now Zektar looked at her. His eyes were sharp, despite his age. Why do you think it did this? Zara had been thinking about this question for 3 days. I believe he genuinely wanted to help, sir. It, not he. The enemy are not people, Lieutenant. Yes, sir. But Zara could not make herself believe this anymore. The human claimed to have treated 15 of our soldiers. Yes, sir. Do you believe this claim? Zara remembered Tom's sad eyes when he talked about the people he couldn't save. Yes, sir, I do. Zektar leaned back in his chair. Interesting and disturbing. If humans are showing mercy to our soldiers, it suggests they are not the savage beasts we believed them to be. Sir? Nothing. Lieutenant, you are fit for duty? Yes, sir. Good. You are assigned to Squadron 7. There is a mission tomorrow. Zara's heart sank. Squadron 7 was an attack unit. They would be hunting human ships, maybe even medical ships like Tom's. Sir, may I request a different assignment? Zektar's eyes narrowed. Why? I think I need more time to recover. The doctor says you are fully healed. Yes, sir, but mentally. Lieutenant Zara, Zektar said slowly. Has your encounter with the human affected your ability to fight? This was a dangerous question. If she said yes, she could be court-martialed for cowardice. If she said no, she would have to go into battle against people who might be like Tom. I can still fight, sir. Good. Report to Squadron 7 at 0800, tomorrow. That night, Zara lay in her bunk staring at the ceiling. Around her, other pilots slept peacefully. They still believed humans were monsters. They still believed the war was righteous and necessary. But Zara had seen a different truth. She had met a human who risked his life to save enemies, who learned their language to communicate better with wounded soldiers, who asked about her dreams and her life before the war. She thought about tomorrow's mission. Squadron 7 would attack a human supply convoy. There might be medical ships with it, ships like Tom's. What if she encountered him again? What if she was ordered to shoot him down? What if she refused? The next morning came too soon. Squadron 7 gathered in the briefing room. 12 pilots, all eager for battle, all except Zara. Today we strike at Human Convoy Group Delta, announced Squadron Leader Voss. Intelligence reports 3 cargo ships, 2 escort fighters, and 1 medical vessel. A medical vessel? Zara's hands clenched. The medical ship is a priority target, Voss continued. Humans use their medical ships to gather intelligence and coordinate attacks. This was another lie. Zara was sure of it. Medical ships were for helping wounded people, not for spying. Questions? Voss asked. Zara raised her hand. Sir, what if the medical ship is only carrying wounded soldiers? Voss stared at her. Then we prevent those soldiers from returning to fight us again. Any other questions? No one else spoke. Move out. The squadron launched from the battleship and flew toward the human convoy. Zara's fighter felt different somehow. Heavier. Like it was carrying more than just weapons and fuel. It was carrying doubt. They found the convoy near a small asteroid field. Just as intelligence had reported, 3 cargo ships, 2 fighters, and 1 medical vessel. The medical ship was larger than Tom's had been, but it had the same red cross markings. Squadron 7, attack formation, Voss ordered. Target the escorts first, then the cargo ships, then the medical vessel. The battle began quickly. The human fighters were outnumbered but fought bravely. 1 was destroyed immediately. The other managed to damage 2 HFY ships before being shot down. Medical vessel is trying to escape, reported Lieutenant Kex. Shall I pursue? Negative, Voss replied. Finish the cargo ships first. The medical ship is slow. It cannot outrun us. Zara watched the medical ship trying to flee. It was not fighting back. It was just trying to get away. Just like Tom would do if he were here. The cargo ships were destroyed one by one. Their crews had no chance to escape. No medical ships came to help them. Now the medical vessel, Voss ordered. Zara, you have the best shot. Take it down. Zara's hands froze on the controls. She could see the medical ship clearly in her targeting system. 1 shot would destroy it. Kill everyone inside, people like Tom. Zara, fire! Her finger hovered over the trigger. All she had to do was press it. Follow orders. Be a good soldier. But she thought about Tom's gentle hands treating her wounds. His kind eyes when he asked about her dreams. His sad smile when he talked about the people he couldn't save. Zara! She switched off her weapon system. My weapons are malfunctioning, sir, she reported. Then ram it. Engines are overheating. I need to fall back. This was treason. This was mutiny. This would probably get her executed, but she could not. Kill people who spent their lives saving others. Another pilot, Lieutenant Kex, moved in for the attack. His weapons charged, ready to destroy the medical ship. Zara made a decision that surprised even her. She fired on Kex's ship, not to kill, just to disable his weapons, to give the medical ship time to escape. What are you doing? Voss screamed. Over the radio. My targeting system is damaged, Zara lied. I'm having control problems. By the time the other pilots could react, the medical ship had reached the safety of the asteroid field. It would escape. The squadron returned to the battleship in angry silence. Zara knew she would be questioned, probably arrested, maybe executed. But for the first time in months, she felt like she had done something right. As they docked, she saw Commander Vex waiting for her, the same commander who had rescued her from Tom's ship. Lieutenant Zara, he said quietly. Please come with me. Her military career was over, possibly her life. But she had saved a ship full of people who spent their lives helping others. It was worth it. The HFY rescue ship docked with Zara's broken fighter. She could hear her people moving through the airlock. Soon they would be here, Soon she would have to leave Tom behind and return to being a soldier. "They're here," Tom said, standing up and putting his helmet back on. Zara struggled to sit up straighter. Her wounds still hurt, but the human medicine had made her much stronger. "What will you tell them?" "The truth, that I found you wounded and gave you medical aid. They might try to capture you." Tom checked his weapon, making sure it was ready but not threatening. "Maybe, but I don't think so. This is a rescue, not a battle." The door opened and 3 HFY soldiers entered. They wore the gray armor of the medical corps, but Zara could see weapons on their belts. They stopped when they saw Tom standing. "Beside her, human," said the lead soldier. His name patch read Commander Vex. "Step away from the prisoner." "She's not a prisoner," Tom said calmly. "She's a patient, and she's stable now." Commander Vex raised his weapon. "I said step away." Zara found her voice. "Commander, wait. He saved my life." "It saved your life so humans could interrogate you later," Vex said, not taking his eyes off Tom. "Typical human trick." "No," Zara said, trying to stand. Her legs shook but held her weight. "He called you. He sent the rescue signal. He could have left me to die, but he didn't." Vex looked confused. This did not fit what he knew about humans. "Why would a human save a HFY soldier?" Tom answered for himself. "Because she needed help. We are your enemies. Right now, we're just people in space, and people help each other." The other 2 soldiers whispered to each other in the old HFY language, thinking Tom would not understand. But he replied in the same ancient tongue. "I understand what you're saying. And no, I'm not recording this conversation." All 3 HFY stared at him. It was very rare for humans to learn their language, especially the old formal version, used by the military. "How do you know our words?" Vex asked. "I've been doing search and rescue for 2 years. I've treated a lot of wounded HFY. I thought I should learn to communicate better." Vex lowered his weapon slightly. "You have treated our people before?" 15 including her, Tom said, nodding toward Zara. "Plus 30 humans, whoever needs help." "And you let them go? You don't take prisoners?" "I'm a medic, not a soldier. My job is to save lives, not take them." One of the other soldiers, a young female named Kira, spoke up. "Commander, the humans' medical work is excellent. Look at Lieutenant Zara's wounds. They're properly cleaned and bandaged. The bleeding has stopped. She can walk." Vex examined Zara more closely. He had to admit the medical work was impressive, better than what most HFY field medics could do under these conditions. "Human," Vex said to Tom, "what do you want in return for this aid?" "Nothing." "Nothing?" "Nothing." Vex could not understand this. In HFY society, everything had a price. Everything was traded. Help was given only when something was expected in return. "There must be something," Vex insisted. Tom thought for a moment. "Actually, there is one thing." "What?" "Tell me about her," Tom said, looking at Zara. "What was she like before the war? What did she want to be when she grew up?" This was not what Vex expected. "Why do you care?" "Because I want to remember that she's a person, not just a soldier." Vex looked at Zara, then back at Tom. Slowly, he put his weapon away completely. "She wanted to be a teacher. She was good with children. She loved stories and music." Tom smiled. "I can see that. She's very thoughtful." "She is one of our best pilots," Vex continued. "But she joined the military because her family needed the money, not because she wanted to fight." A lot of soldiers are like that, Tom said. On both sides. Zara was surprised to hear her commander talking about her this way. He had never asked about her life before the war. He had never seemed to care about her as anything but a weapon. "Commander," Kira said quietly, "we should go. The human fleet might detect us." Vex nodded. "Yes, Lieutenant Zara, can you walk to our ship?" "I think so." Zara took a step, then another. Her legs were weak but working. Tom moved to help her, offering his arm for support. Vex started to object, then stopped. The human was just helping someone who was hurt. Nothing wrong with that. As they walked slowly toward the airlock, Zara looked back at the control room where Tom had found her. She had been dying in there. Now she was alive and walking because of a human who had every reason to hate her. "Tom," she said as they reached the airlock. "Yeah? When this war is over, if we both survive, I would like to meet you again, as people, not soldiers." Tom smiled. "I'd like that too." Commander Vex watched this exchange with growing understanding. This was not how enemies were supposed to behave, but maybe that was the problem. Maybe thinking of each other as enemies was what kept the war going. "Human," Vex said as they prepared to part ways. "Tom, my name is Tom. Tom, thank you for saving our soldier. Thank you for coming to get her. It is our duty. Mine too." Vex thought about this as they helped Zara into their ship. Duty. Both sides claimed to be doing their duty. But which duty was more important? The duty to kill enemies or the duty to save lives? As the Kethai rescue ship prepared to leave, Vex made a decision that would have surprised his superiors. He opened a communication channel to Tom's ship. "Tom, this is Commander Vex. I'm here. There is a battle planned for tomorrow. Grid Section 7 Alpha. Many ships will be damaged. Many people will be hurt." Tom was quiet for a moment. "Are you asking me to be there?" "I am telling you where help might be needed." "I understand. Thank you." "Do not thank me. Just do what you do." As the two ships flew away from each other, Zara watched Tom's fighter get smaller and smaller through the window. She touched the bandages he had put on her wounds. They were perfect, careful, made by someone who cared about doing good work. "Kira," she said to the young medic. "Yes, Lieutenant?" "Have you ever treated a wounded human?" Kira looked nervous. "No. We are taught that humans are too dangerous to approach when they are hurt." "I don't think that's true." Commander Vex overheard this. "What do you mean?" Zara chose her words carefully. "I mean, maybe we don't know humans as well as we think we do." The ship was quiet as they flew back toward the Kethai fleet. Each of them was thinking about what they had seen. A human who saved his enemies. A human who learned their language. A human who cared about their stories and their dreams. Maybe, Zara thought, the war would not last forever. Maybe someday people like Tom would outnumber people who only wanted to fight. Maybe there was hope after all. Tom finished bandaging Zara's wounds and sat back. She was stable now. The bleeding had stopped. Her breathing was easier. But she kept staring at him like he was some kind of strange creature. "Why are you doing this?" she asked again. "We are at war." Tom pulled off his helmet and set it aside. His hair was short and black with some gray in it. There were lines around his eyes that showed he had lived through hard times. "War doesn't mean we stop being decent people." Zara had never heard anything like this. In Kethai society, enemies were enemies. You killed them or they killed you. There was no middle ground, no mercy, no helping each other. "How old are you?" Tom asked, checking the bandages one more time. 43 cycles, Zara said. Then she realized he might not understand. About 25 in your years, Tom nodded. You're young? This your first war? Yes, but I have been training since I was a child. Training to kill humans? Zara looked away. She felt shame, which was strange. Keth I were taught that shame was weakness. Yes. Tom was quiet for a moment. He opened a water container and handed it to her. Drink this. You lost a lot of blood. The water was cool and clean. It tasted better than anything from her ship's supplies. Even human water was better than Kethi water. Can I ask you something? Tom said. Zara nodded, still drinking. Why did your people start this war? I mean, really? Not the official reasons, what you actually think. No human had ever asked Zara what she thought about anything. Her own commanders rarely asked what she thought. Soldiers were supposed to follow orders, not think. The council said humans were dangerous, she said slowly. That you would attack us eventually, so we should attack first. Do you believe that? Zara thought about it. Really thought about it, maybe for the first time. I did, but now, I don't know. Tom smiled again, that strange human expression. What changed your mind? You, Zara said without thinking. Then she felt embarrassed. I mean, you are not what I expected. What did you expect? Monsters, killers, cruel beings who enjoy causing pain. Tom laughed. It was not a mean laugh. It was sad. Some humans are like that. Some Kethi probably are too, but most of us are. Just people trying to live our lives. Zara had never thought about humans as people before. They were always just enemies, targets, things to be destroyed. But Tom was talking to her like she mattered, like her thoughts and feelings were important. I have killed many of your people, she said quietly. Tom's smile faded. I know, and I've killed many of yours. That's what war does. It makes people do terrible things. Are you angry with me? Angry? Tom considered this. Maybe a little. But mostly I'm sad. Sad that we're fighting at all. Sad that young people like you are, dying for reasons that don't make much sense. Zara felt something wet on her face. Tears. She was crying. Kethi's soldiers were not supposed to cry. It showed weakness, but she could not stop. Hey, Tom said gently. It's okay. No, it's not okay, Zara said, wiping her eyes. I was sent here to kill humans, to destroy your ships and your stations. I was good at it. I was proud of it. And now? Now I don't know anything anymore? Tom moved closer and sat beside her, not touching, but close enough that she could feel his warmth. That's not a bad thing. Questioning what you've been told is the first step to wisdom. My people would call it treason. Maybe, but what do you call it? Zara thought about this. What did she call it growing up, learning, becoming more than just a weapon? I call it confusing. Tom laughed again. This time it was a happy sound. Yeah, life is confusing. Anyone who says they have it all figured out is lying. They sat in comfortable silence for a while. Zara watched Tom organize his medical supplies. His movements were careful and practiced. He had done this many times before. How many of my people have you saved? She asked. You're the 15th. Zara stared at him. 15? 15 wounded Kethi soldiers, plus about 30 humans. It's my job. I'm a search and rescue medic, but we are your enemies. You're also living beings who need help. Tom closed. His medical kit. That matters more than what uniform you wear. Zara could not understand this. It went against everything she had been taught. Enemies were enemies. You did not help them. You certainly did not risk your life to save them. Have any of the others, the other Kethai you saved, have they changed their minds about the war? Tom shrugged. Some have, some haven't. That's not why I do it. Then why? Because it's right. Because if I don't help when I can, then what kind of person am I? This was a completely new way of thinking for Zara. In Kethai society, you helped your own people, your family, your clan, your military unit. But strangers? Enemies? That was unthinkable. My commander would execute me if he knew I was talking to you like this, she said. Mine might court-martial me for treating enemy soldiers, Tom replied. But I can sleep at night knowing I did the right thing. Sleep. Zara had not slept well in months. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the faces of the humans she had killed. Young ones, old ones, soldiers, and civilians. They all looked at her with dead eyes and asked, why? Do you see them in your dreams? She asked quietly. The ones you couldn't save? Tom was quiet for a long time. Yes, he said finally. Every night. How do you bear it? By saving the ones I can. By trying to be better tomorrow than I was today. By remembering that every life has value, even in war. Zara felt something she had never experienced before. Not shame, not fear. Something else. Something that made her chest feel warm and her eyes fill with tears again. Hope? Tom? She said. Yeah? Thank you. For what? For showing me that humans are not monsters. Tom smiled that sad, gentle smile. And thank you for showing me that Kethai are not monsters either. Outside, Zara could see lights approaching. The rescue ship her people had sent. Soon, she would have to leave this broken ship and return to her fleet. Return to the war. Return to killing humans. But she would never be the same. Zara's ship was falling apart around her. The metal walls glowed red-hot from the human weapons that had hit her. Smoke filled the air, making it hard to breathe. She pressed her 4 hands against her side where the metal piece had cut deep. Blue blood ran between her fingers. The war had been going on for 3 years now. Her people, the Kethai, had started it. They thought humans were weak. Small planet, soft bodies, short lives, easy to defeat. They were wrong about everything. Zara had been a soldier since she was young. She had fought in 12 battles before, this one. She had killed many humans. She told herself they were just animals. That's what her commander said. Animals that got too big for their own good. But now, floating in the dark space near Earth's moon, she was dying. Her ship's power was gone. The air was running out. The humans had won this battle just like all the others lately. She tried to send a message to her home world, but the radio was broken. She tried to start the engines, but they were dead. She tried to fix the life support, but her hands shook too much. The blood loss was making her weak. Through the small window, she could see Earth. It was blue and white and beautiful. Strange to think something so pretty could make such dangerous creatures. The humans had surprised everyone. They were not weak. They were not easy to defeat. They fought like demons when their home was in danger. Zara remembered the first time. She saw a human up close. It was during a raid on one of their space stations. The human was just a worker, not even a soldier. But when the HFY attacked, the human had stayed behind to help others escape. The human had died saving people who could not save themselves. At the time, Zara thought it was stupid. Why die for others? In HFY culture, only the strong survived. The weak were left behind. But humans were different. They helped each other. They saved each other, even when it meant they might die. Now Zara was the weak one. Now she was the one who needed help. But no help would come. Her people would not risk a ship to save one soldier. That was not their way. She looked at her communicator. One more time, still broken. She looked at the engines. Still dead. She looked at the air meter. Only 20 minutes left. Zara closed her eyes and thought about her home. The red sky and purple mountains. The crystal cities that sang in the wind. Her family's nest high in the sacred trees. She would never see any of it again. A sound made her open her eyes. Metal hitting metal. Something was connecting to her ship. She looked at the screen that still worked. A human ship was right next to hers, small and fast, like the fighters that had destroyed her squadron. Fear filled her chest. The humans had come to finish her off. She tried to reach for her weapon, but her arms would not move right. Too much blood lost. Too much pain. The airlock made a hissing sound. Someone was coming inside. Zara waited for the end. At least it would be quick. Humans were good at killing. She had learned that the hard way. Heavy boots walked through her ship, getting closer. Zara tried to sit up straight. She would face death with honor, even if the humans gave her none. The door to her control room opened. A human stepped inside. Male, she thought. They all looked the same to her. He wore a spacesuit with a clear face cover. His skin was dark brown. His eyes were dark, too. He looked around the room, taking in the damage. Then his eyes found her. Zara waited for him to shoot. Instead, he put his weapon away. He knelt down beside her and looked at her wounds. His hands moved carefully, checking how bad the cuts were. "Hey there," he said in perfect HFY language. "I'm Tom. I'm here to help." Zara stared at him. This made no sense. Humans did not help HFY. They were enemies. They had been killing each other for 3 years. "Why?" she whispered, speaking hurt. Everything hurt. Tom was already opening. A medical kit. Human medical supplies. "Because you're hurt," he said, like it was the most normal thing in the world. "And I'm a medic." "I am your enemy." Tom looked at her with those dark eyes. "Right now, you're just someone who needs help." He started cleaning her wounds. His hands were gentle, careful not to cause more pain. Zara had expected humans to be rough and cruel. But this one moved like he was handling something precious. "This might sting a little," Tom said, preparing some kind of spray medicine. Zara did not understand. She had killed his people. Her people had started this war. They had attacked his home world. Why was he helping her? "I don't understand," she said. Tom smiled. It was a strange expression. HFY did not smile. "What's not to understand?" "You're bleeding." "I can stop the bleeding." Pretty simple. The medicine did sting, but it also stopped the pain. Zara felt strength coming back to her body. The human medicine was working better than her own people's treatments. "Your ship will be here soon," Tom said, wrapping bandages around her wounds. "I sent a message on the emergency channel. They should arrive in about an hour. You called. My people? Zara could not believe it. Of course, you want to go home, right? Nobody had ever asked Zara what she wanted. In the Keth-I military, soldiers did what they were told. They went where they were sent. They fought who they were ordered to fight. What they wanted did not matter, but this human cared what she wanted.